where every small piece of metal tells a massive story. And today, we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet historically powerful coins ever carried in American pockets, the onedime 1990, a coin so common that millions ignored it, and so important that it silently witnessed the final heartbeat of the 20th century. This is not just a dime. This is a time capsule from an era of change ambition, technology, and quiet economic power. And as we begin this journey, imagine the sound of coins in your pocket in 1990, America standing at the edge of a new decade, the Cold War fading, the digital age waking up, and the United States Mint striking millions of these small silver-colored discs that would travel through gas stations, grocery stores, pay phones, lunch counters, and arcade machines. The 1990 dime, officially known as the Roosevelt dime, carries the portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a man whose legacy shaped modern America and whose image was chosen not for decoration, but for meaning. Because Roosevelt was the driving force behind the March of Dimes campaign, a national movement that fought polio and changed public health forever, and when you hold a 1990 dime, you are holding a tribute to resilience, leadership, and recovery. The obverse shows Roosevelt facing left strong, calm, and determined, while the reverse displays the torch of liberty flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing peace, strength, and independence. And in 1990, these dimes were struck at multiple mints, including Philadelphia and Denver, with proof versions created in San Francisco. Each mint mark, or lack of one, tells its own story of production speed, quality control, and national demand. The composition by this time had shifted from silver decades earlier to a copper core clad with nickel reflecting, changing metal values and economic realities, and yet despite losing silver, the dime kept its size, its dignity, and its purchasing power in everyday life. In 1990, a dime could still buy candy, make a phone call, contribute to a newspaper box, or sit in a tip jar, and the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins to keep commerce flowing smoothly because the dime was, and still is, the workhorse of American coinage, small, efficient, dependable. And when United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins to keep commerce flowing smoothly because the dime was, and still is, the workhorse of American coinage. Small, efficient, dependable. And when collectors today examine a 1990 dime, they look for condition strike quality full torch details and rare errors such as off-center strikes, doubled, dies, or transitional anomalies, and while most circulated examples are worth face value, pristine, uncirculated, and proof examples, especially with deep cameo contrast, can command premiums, and the story grows deeper when you consider the historical backdrop. 1990 was a year of transition. The internet was still a whisper. The Berlin Wall had just fallen, and America was redefining its role in the world. And these dimes passed silently through the hands of factory workers, office clerks, soldiers, students, and families, capturing fingerprints of a generation. And this is why the 1990 dime matters not because it is rare, but because it is real. Because it represents everyday America at a turning point in history. And in this video, we are going to explore how it was made, where it traveled, who used it, what makes certain examples valuable today, and why this small coin deserves your attention. Whether you are a seasoned collector, a beginner, or someone who just found a jar of old change. This is the hidden epic of the onedime 1990, a simple coin with an extraordinary story. And as we go deeper, remember every coin has two sides and every year leaves a mark. So stay with Coins Us, because the smallest change can reveal the biggest history. Into the heart of the 1990 onedime. It is important to slow down and truly understand the environment in which this coin was born. The United States Mint, in 1990, was operating like a massive industrial engine running day and night to supply the nation with coinage that kept everyday life moving. The dime, more than any other coin, was essential because it balanced convenience and value. It was small enough to carry easily, yet important enough to matter in daily transactions, and inside the mint, huge presses slammed blank planchets with incredible force, imprinting Roosevelt's portrait and the symbols of liberty. Millions of times each month, each strike perfectly timed, each coin inspected by systems designed to catch flaws. Yet some imperfections slipped through, and those imperfections today are tiny windows into the minting process. Collectors search for weak strikes missing, clad layers, clipped planchets, and doubling that can only occur when human engineering meets massive speed and pressure. And when we talk about the 1990 dime, we must talk about mint marks, because these small letters tell us where the coin was born. A 1990 dime with no mint mark came from Philadelphia. The oldest and most historically important mint in the country, a 1990 D-dime, was struck in Denver, a mint known for strong strikes and high output, while proof dimes carrying the S mint mark were carefully produced in San Francisco. Polished die's mirror, like fields and frosted devices, created coins meant not for pockets, but for collectors and presentation. And these proof dimes were sold in sets protected from circulation, making them a snapshot of perfection from that year and beyond. The metal and machinery lies the social story of the dime in 1990. America was changing rapidly. Malls were full, cassette tapes were being replaced by CDs, video rental stores ruled weekends, and payphones still lined city streets, and the dime played a role in all of it, dropped into jukeboxes, arcade cabinets, parking meters, and vending machines. It was the sound of participation in daily life. And when you think about it, every 1990 dime has traveled more than most people imagine, crossing state lines, changing hands thousands of times, carrying microscopic wear patterns that tell stories of movement and time, and for collectors today, grading becomes the language that translates those stories. Mint state examples, graded MS65, MS66, or higher, reveal sharp details, especially in the torch bands on the reverse. Full torch dimes are especially desirable because they indicate a strong, complete strike where the horizontal bands across the torch are fully separated and crisp, something not guaranteed even on uncirculated coins. And while the 1990 dime is not a key date, it becomes fascinating when viewed as part of a larger narrative. The end of the Cold War, the rise of global trade, the calm before the explosive growth of the Internet age, and these coins were witnesses quietly present in wallets during historic moments, and personal milestones, birthdays, road trips, first jobs, and small purchases. And this is why CoinsUs focuses on coins like this, because history is not only found in rare gold pieces locked away in vaults, it is found in ordinary change. And the 1990 dime teaches us that value is not only measured by rarity, but by relevance and connection. And as we continue exploring this coin, we will dive even deeper into error, varieties, survival rates, collector demand, market trends, and how to properly identify and preserve examples worth keeping. Because sometimes the most powerful stories come from the smallest coins. And this is only the beginning of the hidden legacy of the one dime 1990, where history lives in your hands and coins tell stories that transcend time. Today, we dive into the fascinating world of the 1967 United States dime, a coin that at first glance might seem ordinary, yet holds layers of history, artistry, and economic significance that few ever realize. This tiny piece of metal carries with it the echoes of a nation in the midst of change and the legacy of a design that has endured for decades. From the artistry of John R. Cynic, who engraved the iconic portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to the careful selection of metals that would balance durability with a bright gleam. The 1967 dime is more than currency. It is a piece of art, a reflection of mid-20th century America, and a symbol of the everyday life of citizens who held it and passed it along its journey to countless hands across the country and even beyond our borders. In this video, we will explore the 1967 dime. From every angle, we will uncover the historical context of its creation, including the political and economic climate of the United States. In the late 1960s, the rise of the silver shortage that was beginning to challenge the mint's traditional practices, and the decisions that led to the final composition of the coin with 90% silver and 10% copper. Every detail matters, from the precise engraving of Roosevelt's profile, the elegant depiction of the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, to the subtle variations that can be found in coins minted in Philadelphia versus Denver. We will examine the minting process itself, how dies were prepared, how striking techniques affected the finish, and what collectors look for today when identifying mint marks, condition, and rarity. Beyond the technical aspects, we will delve into the cultural significance of the dime, how it circulated in the hands of Americans during a time of social change, how it became a tool of commerce, small purchases and big ideas alike, and how it has now become a treasured item for collectors around the world. From grading standards to the most sought-after examples, we will provide a comprehensive guide that will make you see the 1967 dime not just as money, but as a living piece of American heritage. By the end of this video, you will understand why the 1967 dime is cherished by numismatists, how its design reflects the vision of a nation in transition, and why every small detail, from the lettering to the metal composition, tells a story of artistry and precision. We will share tips on identifying condition variations, spotting errors that could increase value, and understanding market trends that make this coin an enduring favorite among collectors young. Conception at the United States Mint, to its journey through pockets, wallets, and coin albums across generations. We will uncover stories hidden in plain sight and provide a level of detail that makes this more than a coin video. This is an immersive exploration of history, culture, and the small objects that connect us to the past and inspire us in the present. Into the 1967 United States dime, it is important to understand the era in which it was minted. The mid-1960s in America was a time of significant social change and economic development. The nation was navigating the complexities of post-war prosperity, civil rights movements, and the beginnings of a technological revolution. Every coin produced during this period carries not just monetary value, but a story of the people who used it and the society they lived in. The 1967 dime reflects both continuity and change, as it preserves the classic Roosevelt design introduced in 1946, while being minted during a decade that would see shifts in coinage composition and circulation patterns. The 1967 dime is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, a composition that was standard for dimes of this era, but which would soon face pressure from rising silver prices. The United States Mint had to balance the need for durable coins with the realities of an economy in transition. This composition gives the coin a distinct weight and feel, and contributes to the subtle luster that collectors value today. Even slight differences in wear or toning can affect its appearance and desirability. Every coin is unique even when produced on the same press and from the same dies making. Careful examination essential for anyone interested in its history or collecting potential. The obverse of the coin features the familiar profile of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a leader whose image was chosen to honor his legacy in leading the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. The engraving captures not just the likeness of Roosevelt, but a sense of dignity and determination that resonates with the values he represented. The details of his hair, eyes, and collar are carefully crafted to maintain sharpness even through circulation, while the inscription of liberty in God, we trust, and the date, 1967, frame his profile in a way that combines artistry with functional design. Turning the coin over, we see the reverse, which displays a torch representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace, and an oak branch standing for strength and independence. This arrangement of symbols creates a visual balance and communicates a message that is both patriotic and timeless. It reflects the enduring principles of the United States, while also serving as a reminder that even the smallest objects can convey deep meaning. The design is precise with fine lines and crisp lettering, a testament to the skill of the United States mint engravers and the meticulous process used to strike each coin. Collectors today pay careful attention to the minute variations that can occur in coins minted at different facilities. The 1967 dime was produced in Philadelphia and Denver, though some early documentation indicates no mint mark was used on the Philadelphia coins, while the Denver coins feature a small D below the date. Identifying these mint marks is essential for accurate cataloging and for determining the rarity and potential value of a coin. Slight differences in die, alignment, strike pressure, and metal flow can create subtle variations that experienced numismatists look for when grading a coin. The story of the 1967 dime does not end with its design and production. It continues through the decades as these coins circulated in the hands of Americans, making purchases, saving for the future, and eventually finding their way into collections. Around the country and even internationally, these coins have traveled through countless pockets, wallets, and coin albums, each journey leaving its mark in terms of wear, toning, and patina. Every scratch or gleam tells part of its story and adds to the richness of its history. For those interested in collecting, understanding grading standards is critical. A coin in uncirculated condition with full luster command higher attention, while circulated examples still retain historical and sentimental value. Collectors also watch for errors or variations, such as doubled dies or unusual strike patterns that can increase a coin's value and desirability. Markets for these coins can fluctuate based on silver prices, collector interest, and overall demand, making it essential to approach collecting with knowledge and care. Fascinating world of U.S. coins today. We are diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American currency history, the 1996 U.S. dime. A small yet powerful piece of our financial heritage that carries not just monetary value, but the story of a nation and the artistry of its minting. From the very moment it was struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the 1996 dime reflects both the continuity and subtle evolution of American coinage. The design on the obverse features the familiar portrait of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, whose image has graced the dime since 1946, honoring his leadership during some of the most challenging times in American history from the Great Depression through World War II, while the reverse proudly displays a torch representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch of peace and an oak branch of strength, symbolizing the enduring values of democracy and resilience. These symbols are not merely decorative. They tell a story of hope, perseverance, and unity, and every detail, from the intricate lettering to the smooth rim of the coin, reflects the precision and craftsmanship of the United States Mint. The 1996 dime was produced during a period of transition for the minting industry as advanced technologies were being integrated into the coin production process, allowing for sharper strikes, cleaner surfaces, and more consistent quality. Collectors and numismatists will find it fascinating to explore the variations in strike quality between coins produced at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Each coin carries subtle differences in luster toning and finish that can make a substantial difference in its desirability among collectors beyond its physical characteristics. The 1996 dime exists within a broader historical and economic context. The mid-1990s were a time of economic growth and technological innovation in the United States, and coins like the 1996 dime circulated through countless hands, embodying the daily transactions of ordinary Americans from bustling city streets to small-town markets, and each coin witnessed a unique slice of life during that era. Understanding the history of the 1996 dime also means appreciating the process behind its creation, from the careful selection of the metal composition, consisting of a copper core with a layered combination of nickel. It balances durability with aesthetic appeal to the meticulous engraving and die preparation by skilled artisans at the U.S. Mint. The coin is a blend of art, science, and history encapsulated in a pocket-sized object. Numismatics enthusiasts will also be intrigued by the mint marks found on the 1996 dime. The small d for Denver or the p for Philadelphia not only denote its origin but can influence its value for collectors, and the subtle differences in weight diameter and thickness over decades of production reflect ongoing refinements in minting techniques and standards. We will also explore how the 1996 dime compares to other years in the Roosevelt series, examining variations in edge lettering, surface finish, and striking quality, providing a comprehensive understanding of where it fits within the lineage of American dimes. By the end of this journey, you will not only recognize the 1996 dime as a coin, but as a piece of American history, a work of art, a testament to innovation, and a symbol of the values that continue to define this nation. Whether you are a seasoned collector, a history enthusiast, or simply someone curious about the stories behind everyday objects, this detailed exploration will reveal the hidden depth behind a seemingly simple coin and transform the way you view the money that passes through your hands every day. The 1996 U.S. dime. It is important to understand not just the physical coin itself, but the larger historical and cultural forces that shaped its creation. During the mid-1990s, the United States was experiencing a period of relative prosperity, technological innovation, and rapid globalization, and even a small coin like the dime carries subtle echoes of that era. The design choices, the production methods, and the circulation patterns all reflect a nation-balancing tradition with progress. The Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946, was originally intended to honor President Roosevelt's leadership and his role in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to combating polio, a disease that had afflicted millions of Americans at the time. And by continuing this legacy in 1996, the dime serves not just as currency, but as a reminder of civic responsibility and the power of collective action. Examining the 1996 dime closely reveals details that often go unnoticed in everyday transactions. The intricacy of Roosevelt's portrait, the careful alignment of the inscriptions, and the sharp relief of the torch, olive and oak branches all demonstrate the meticulous attention to detail maintained by the United States Mint. The coin's weight and composition are also carefully engineered to ensure durability and circulation. The copper core provides strength, while the outer layer of nickel gives it a silvery appearance that resists corrosion and maintains its luster over decades. Collectors often note subtle variations between coins that can be influenced by the striking pressure, the age of the dies, and even environmental factors during storage or circulation. For example, a dime from Philadelphia may exhibit slightly different surface characteristics than one from Denver. These nuances may seem minor, but in the world of numismatics, they can make all the difference in terms of rarity, desirability, and value. Understanding the journey of the 1996 dime also involves looking at its life in circulation. These coins were exchanged countless times, in wallets, cash registers, banks, and vending machines, witnessing daily life in cities, towns, and rural communities alike. Each coin carries a silent story of commerce and human activity, from the simplest grocery purchase to complex business transactions. Over 30 years later, these coins now hold historical significance beyond their face value. They become artifacts that tell the story of mid-1990s America and the economy of the time. For collectors, the 1996 dime presents multiple areas of interest, starting with the mint mark variations. Coins struck in Denver are marked with a small d on the reverse, while those from Philadelphia carry a p, and for those with an eye for grading even the tiniest differences in surface quality, luster, or strike sharpness can create significant distinctions in value. A perfectly struck, uncirculated 1996 dime with full original luster is highly sought after, while one that shows signs of wear or circulation will be less valuable, but still important in understanding the coin's journey through time. The history of the Roosevelt dime series provides further context for the 1996 coin as part of a lineage that spans decades. The changes in minting techniques all of which reflect broader developments in American numismatics. By comparing the 1996 dime to previous and subsequent years, collectors can trace these changes and appreciate the evolution of design and production technology, and beyond the technical details, the coin also connects us to Roosevelt's legacy. The values of leadership, compassion, and public service that inspired the original creation of the series are still embedded in every coin. The torch of liberty, the olive branch of peace, and the oak branch of strength on the reverse continue to symbolize ideals that resonate across generations. Finally, when we consider the 1996 U.S. dime from an investment and collecting perspective, it is important to note that while this coin was produced in large quantities, it can still offer opportunities for collectors who focus on quality, condition, and provenance. Rare finds, proof coins, and coins with exceptional luster can carry premiums, and for enthusiasts building a Roosevelt dime collection, the 1996 issue represents an essential piece of a broader narrative connecting art, history, and commerce. Where every small piece of metal carries a massive untold story, and today we are opening the door to one of the most misunderstood and fascinating coins in American history. The United States, one dime dated 1966, a coin so ordinary at first glance, yet so powerful in meaning that it reflects war, politics, economic fear, and a nation standing at a crossroads. This is not just a dime. This is a silent witness to a turbulent era, an era when America questioned its money, its future, and even its identity. Imagine holding a coin that was born in a time when silver was disappearing from pockets, when people were hoarding coins out of fear, when vending machines rejected change, and the United States Mint was fighting to keep the economy moving. This 1966 dime has no mint mark, and that alone tells a dramatic story of secrecy and strategy ordered directly by the federal government to confuse hoarders and stabilize circulation. This coin represents the moment America quietly ended over 170 years of silver coinage for everyday use and replaced it with a copper-nickel core forever, changing the sound, feel, and value of money in the hands of the people. The 1966 dime features the timeless portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a man chosen not only for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, but also for his personal battle with polio and his role in founding the March of Dimes, making this coin deeply symbolic beyond its face value, designed by chief engraver John R. Sinek. The portrait carries strength, resolve, and quiet determination, while the reverse torch, flanked by olive and oak branches, speaks of liberty, peace, and strength, values America desperately needed during the Cold War, Vietnam conflict, and rising inflation. This dime was struck at a time when trust in government currency was fragile, when silver prices rose above face value, and citizens began pulling coins from circulation, forcing Congress to pass the Coinage Act of 1965, a landmark law that removed silver from dimes and quarters and reduced it in half dollars. The 1966 dime is a direct result of that decision, minted in massive numbers exceeding 500 million pieces. Yet each one carries the same historic weight because for the first time, Americans held money that was no longer precious metal-based, but faith-based, backed by confidence rather than silver content. The lack of a mint mark was intentional, a strategic move by the U.S. Treasury to prevent collectors and speculators from targeting specific facilities. This single detail turns the 1966 dime into a symbol of government control, economic experiment, and transition. And as we move deeper into this story, we explore how these dimes circulated during social upheaval, how they passed through the hands of factory workers, soldiers, students, and families, how they paid for gas, soda, newspapers, and phone calls, how they survived pocket wear and cash registers, and how some escaped circulation preserved in mint sets never meant to be hoarded, yet secretly collected by millions. Today, we will uncover rare errors, doubled dies off, metal strikes, clipped planchets, and transitional mistakes that can turn this common coin into a valuable treasure. We will examine condition rarity grading history and how high-grade examples can command surprising prices in modern auctions. And we will place this dime within the broader timeline of American numismatics, connecting it to earlier silver Roosevelt dimes and later-clad issues, showing how one year, 1966, stands as a dividing line between old America and modern America. This is the kind of story you cannot rush, because every detail matters. Every strike tells a story, every worn edge reflects a journey, and by the end of this video, you will never look at a dime the same way again. So stay with CoinsUs as we peel back history layer by layer, sound by sound, memory by memory, and reveal why the 1966 United States one dime is not small change, but a powerful artifact of American history waiting to be understood, appreciated, and remembered. This journey deeper into the 1966 United States one dime, we step fully into the atmosphere of the mid-1960s, a period filled with tension, optimism, fear, and rapid transformation. America was changing faster than its money could keep up. Televisions were entering every home, highways were expanding, cities were growing, and the cost of living was rising quietly in the background. The metal inside American coins became a national concern. Silver, once trusted and stable, was now too valuable to stay in circulation. People were pulling silver dimes from their pockets and saving them, melting them, selling them. And the U.S. Mint faced a crisis. If everyday coins vanished, commerce itself could slow down. And that is why the 1966 dime was born, not as a collector's piece, not as a luxury item, but as an emergency solution to keep America moving. The composition of this dime tells that story clearly: a layered structure of copper at the core, bonded with nickel on the outside. Strong, durable, and inexpensive. It was engineered for survival, not beauty. Yet over time, it developed a character of its own. The sound it made when dropped on a counter was different, sharper, less musical than silver, and Americans noticed immediately. This change sparked debate, suspicion, and even anger. Because money is emotional. Money represents trust. And when the metal changed, the trust was tested. The government responded with silence. No mint marks, no public celebration, no announcements. This coin entered circulation quietly, blending into pockets, purses, and cash drawers, becoming part of daily life almost unnoticed. Yet today, that quiet entrance makes it one of the most important transitional coins in U.S. history. The minting process itself was pushed to its limits. Massive production schedules ran day and night, striking hundreds of millions of dimes to replace silver coins that had vanished. The dies wore quickly. Quality varied. And this is where the collector story becomes even richer, because from this pressure came errors, varieties, and anomalies. Coins that slipped through inspection carrying doubled lettering, misaligned strikes, weak details, and planche flaws that today excite numismatists around the world. A simple error on a 1966 dime can elevate it from face value to a prized collectible, and understanding these details requires patience, knowledge, and experience, which is exactly what makes this coin such a powerful teaching tool for new and seasoned collectors alike. Grading. This dime becomes an art circulation where quickly softens Roosevelt's. Hair flattens, the torch bands fade, and the fields lose luster. Yet when a coin survives in high mint state, untouched by circulation, it becomes something rare. Not because of low mintage, but because survival against everyday use is the true challenge. Brilliant uncirculated examples reveal sharp details, satin surfaces, and original mint luster that reflects light in a way worn coins never can. And when these pieces appear in certified holders, they remind us that even the most common coin can become extraordinary through preservation and time. The cultural context of 1966 adds another layer. Soldiers were fighting overseas. Protests filled the streets. Music was changing. Fashion was changing. And this dime passed through it all, buying coffee, newspapers, gasoline, and bus rides. It paid for moments of ordinary life while history unfolded around it, and that is the magic of coins. They are witnesses without voices, carrying fingerprints of the past without saying a word. Every 1966 dime has a story, even if we never know where it traveled, who spent it, or what it purchased. It remains a physical connection to that year, to that moment, to that turning point in American monetary history. And as we continue exploring this coin, we connect it to what came before and what followed. Silver Roosevelt dimes, heavy, valuable, ringing with history on one side, and modern-clad coinage, lightweight, efficient, and purely symbolic on the other, and standing between them is 1966, the bridge year, the quiet revolution, the dime that changed everything. And this is why collectors, historians, and enthusiasts continue to study it, search for it, and talk about it, because its value is not just measured in dollars or grades, but in meaning transition and the story of a nation redefining its money, one small coin at a time. Welcome back to the channel Coins, One Dime, where history, value, mystery, and real American money stories come alive today. We open the door to one of the most overlooked yet fascinating modern U.S. coins, the 1997 One Dime. A small coin with a big story, a coin that passed through millions of hands without anyone stopping to ask what it truly represents. This is not just a 10-cent piece. This is a snapshot of America in the late 20th century, a time of economic confidence, technological growth, and quiet changes inside the United States. Mint, the 1997 dime, belongs to the Roosevelt dime series, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader whose legacy is deeply connected to American resilience, and whose fight against polio made the dime a symbol of hope and strength. By 1997, the Roosevelt dime had already become a daily companion in American life, yet behind its familiar face lies a detailed production story. The 1997 dime was struck at multiple mint facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, each mint producing hundreds of millions of coins to meet the demands of a growing economy. The composition remained a copper core bonded with a pure nickel outer layer, giving the coin durability and a bright silver appearance even without precious metal value. The obverse features Roosevelt facing left, designed by John R. Sinek, whose initials are quietly placed on the coin, while the reverse shows the torch of liberty flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing peace, strength, and independence. In 1997, the United States Mint focused heavily on efficiency, quality control, and high-speed production, which means most 1997 dimes appear common at first glance. But this is where the real story begins. Collectors know that condition is everything, and high-grade examples, especially those with full torch details, can be surprisingly scarce. Errors and varieties also add excitement, including off-center strikes, weak strikes, and die cracks that escaped inspection. Each of these tells a story of human machines, metal, and time coming together in a single moment. The 1997 dime also reflects the everyday economy of its era. Gas prices, shopping habits, vending machines, and payphones all relied on coins like this one, making it a silent witness to daily American life today. Many people ignore it. Yet collectors search through rolls hoping to find a pristine survivor, because even modern coins can become future treasures when history, condition, and demand align. This is why the 1997 dime matters, not because of instant riches, but because it represents how ordinary money becomes extraordinary history when you learn what to look for. And that is the power of coins. One dime where even 10 cents can tell a 2-hour story worth listening to. As we continue deeper into the story of the 1997 One Dime, we begin to understand how this small coin fits into a much larger historical and cultural picture. The year 1997 was a period of stability in the United States. The economy was strong, inflation was controlled, and everyday Americans relied heavily on cash transactions. Coins were essential tools of commerce, and the dime was one of the most frequently used pieces of money in circulation. The United States Mint responded by producing massive quantities of dimes, ensuring smooth daily transactions across the country. Yet mass production does not mean lack of character. Every single 1997 dime carries microscopic details that reflect the exact moment it was created, from the pressure of the dies to the temperature of the metal planche and the condition of the machinery. On that day, collectors study these factors closely because they determine strike quality, luster, and long-term preservation. The concept of full torch on the reverse is especially important. Strong horizontal bands on the torch indicate a sharp strike and superior craftsmanship, and finding a 1997 dime with full torch details in high mint state condition can be surprisingly challenging. This difficulty adds quiet value and long-term interest to the coin error coins from 1997, also play a major role in collector fascination, including clipped planchets, broad strikes, doubled dies, and grease-filled dies. Each error is a mistake frozen in time, offering a rare glimpse into the minting process itself. These errors turn an ordinary coin into a conversation piece and sometimes into a highly sought collectible. Beyond technical details, the 1997 dime also represents a generational shift. It circulated during the rise of digital technology, yet still belonged to an era before complete cashless living. Children received dimes as change, adults saved them in jars, and businesses counted them nightly. These coins absorbed decades of handling, wear, and stories. And when one survives in pristine condition, it becomes a survivor of everyday history. Rolls of 1997 dimes are still being searched today by modern collectors because discoveries are still possible, and this ongoing hunt keeps the coin alive in the present day. Market values may seem modest now, but history shows that overlooked coins often gain recognition over time, especially when future collectors look back and realize how few top-quality examples remain. This is why studying coins like the 1997 dime is not just about money, it is about patience, knowledge, and respect for the past. Every detail, every strike, and every error adds another layer to the story. And as long as people continue to learn, search, and collect, the humble 1997 one dime will never truly be ordinary. It will remain a powerful reminder that even the smallest pieces of currency can carry the weight of history, waiting for those who take the time to see it. Welcome back to the channel Coins One, where every small coin tells a big American story. Today we are diving deep into the 1991 one dime a coin. Most people pass every day without a second look, yet this small silver-colored piece carries history, power art, economics, and hidden value that can easily stretch into a full 2-hour story if you truly understand what you are holding. Imagine a coin born at the edge of a new decade when America was changing. Fast, the Cold War was ending, technology was rising, and everyday money still passed through millions of hands. This 1991 dime, officially known as the Roosevelt dime, was minted to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, the man who guided the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, and who also founded the March of Dimes, making this coin more than currency. It is a tribute frozen in metal. The 1991 dime was struck in Philadelphia and Denver for circulation, and in San Francisco for proof. Collectors, each mint mark tells a different chapter of the same story. Philadelphia pieces with no mint mark represent mass circulation coins that fueled daily American life, while Denver mint dimes marked with a small d often show sharper strikes, and San Francisco proof dimes struck with care mirror-like fields and frosted details created specifically for collectors. The composition of the 1991 dime is copper-nickel clad, meaning a pure copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. A change that began in 1965 when rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to protect circulating coinage. Yet even without silver, the dime kept its symbolic weight and precise standards, measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter and weighing exactly 2.268 grams precision. That reflects the discipline of the U.S. Mint design. On the front shows Roosevelt facing left, strong, calm, and thoughtful, a reminder of leadership during crisis, while the reverse carries the torch of liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength, a design that quietly speaks of balance, power, and hope. In 1991, over billions of dimes were produced, making most examples common. Yet value is not only about rarity, it is about condition errors and stories. Uncirculated 1991, dimes with full bands on the torch lines command strong interest from collectors because they show a perfect strike mint errors like off-center. Strikes doubled. Dies or clipped planchets can turn an ordinary dime into a treasure worth many times. Its face value proof versions, especially deep cameo examples preserved in original sets, tell a different premium story. And as years pass, circulation pieces become history artifacts reflecting wear patterns that map American daily life from gas stations to grocery stores to jukeboxes. The 1991 dime is a time capsule of an era just before digital. Payments changed money forever, and in this channel we do not just look at coins. We uncover why they matter, why collectors hunt them, and why even a single dime from your pocket could be the beginning of a serious collection. Stay with Coins 1, because by the end of this journey, you will never look at a dime the same way again. As we continue this deep journey into the 1991 one dime, remember, this is not just a coin, it is a witness to history. A silent traveler that moved through millions of American hands during a moment when the world itself was shifting. In 1991, the United States stood at the crossroads of tradition and modern change. The internet was just beginning to emerge. The Gulf War was unfolding, and American manufacturing still relied heavily on physical cash. The dime played a critical role in daily commerce used for payphones, parking meters, newspapers, and public transport. And that everyday usefulness is what gives this coin its hidden historical weight. Every scratch and worn edge tells a story of motion, purpose, and time. The Roosevelt dime design chosen back in 1946 continued into 1991 without interruption, proving how deeply Americans connected Roosevelt's legacy with stability and trust. The sculptor John R. Sinek designed the portrait with dignity and restraint, ensuring that even decades later the image still feels relevant and powerful. Collectors often study the facial details, hairlines, and jaw contours on 1991 dimes to identify strike quality, because sharper detail often signals a better minting process, especially on Denver issues. Full torch bands on the reverse are a key grading feature, where the horizontal lines on the torch are fully separated, showing exceptional die pressure and alignment coins. With this feature stand out dramatically in the grading world and can elevate a common dime into a collector-grade example. Grading itself becomes an entire chapter of the story, with conditions ranging from heavily worn circulated pieces to mint-state coins that never saw a cash register. Professional grading services evaluate luster, contact mark, strike, and eye appeal. And for the 1991 dime, high-grade examples above MS67 are scarce and competitive, making them desirable targets for registry set collectors who chase perfection. The proof, dimes minted in San Francisco, deserve their own spotlight, struck multiple times using polished dies. These coins were never meant for circulation. They were presentation pieces sold in proof sets to collectors and preserved in protective cases. Deep cameo proofs, where the frosted design contrasts sharply against mirrored fields, are especially admired and represent the peak craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint during that period. Error coins from 1991 add excitement and mystery to the hunt off-center strikes. Misaligned, dies doubled lettering, and clipped planchets are real and documented. And each error tells a story of a brief moment when machinery and human oversight intersected. Collectors value these because they are unique and unrepeatable, unlike standard coins produced in massive numbers. Values for 1991 dimes vary widely. Circulated examples remain face value, but uncirculated. Coins with strong luster can be worth several dollars. Proof coins hold steady collector premiums and dramatic errors, or top-graded examples can reach much higher levels. The true value, however, lies in education and awareness. Knowing what to look for transforms pocket change into potential history, and this is why Coins 1 exists, to slow down the modern rush and reconnect us with the physical money that built economies and memories as we move deeper into this 2-hour exploration. We will break down mint-by-mint comparisons, grading tips, real auction results, collector strategies, and how beginners can start a serious dime collection with confidence. Because once you understand the 1991 dime, you understand a piece of America itself.